All right, so now we got all the foundational stuff out of your way. But just be sure, in case you have jumped here and skipped the other part, to do go back, because it is so critical to understand why you're actually doing this and where you want to take this. But if you've gone through the last modules, then you're now ready to actually work on your products and your business. And we get this started. Okay, so there is a couple elements that I want to walk you through so you can build your business. There is two things that are kind of a prerequisite for you to build a business that is successful, especially a freedom business. So let's get one thing out of the way in case this hasn't been clear yet. I recommend to you to build something that is based around your knowledge, based around your expertise. So let's get one thing out of the way. If you want to build a freedom business, then it's the best to work with digital products, meaning something that you sell through the internet, but also that you deliver over the internet. This is really the easiest for you if you're looking into building a freedom business. So what does that mean then? There's only two things that you really have to have as a prerequisite to make this work for you. One thing is a certain level of expertise. The other thing is passion for that. Let's cover the first one first. So when I say that you have to have a certain level of expertise, by no means do I say that you have to be like the foremost expert. You don't have to be an authority figure at all or anything like that. But what you do have to have is more knowledge than the people who you teach or service. That is important. Otherwise, you can't really provide value to them, right? So if I teach something about entrepreneurship, it helps being an entrepreneur and having had my failures and successes so I can teach what has worked for me. If you focus on something completely different, just make sure that in the eyes of your audience, you are an expert. You are 1, 2, or 3 steps ahead. By the way, it's a lot better if you haven't been doing something for like 30, 40 years. Usually then you're so deep in it, you're so much in the details that people are having a hard time connecting with you. So the best is actually teaching people who are just those 2 steps behind you. So what would be a couple examples here, right? By no means do I tell you that you should focus on entrepreneurship, you should focus on business, you should focus on marketing, you should focus on sales. Those are topics that I kind of fell for over the last 20 years. But it's actually a lot easier if you focus on industries, on niches, where people are, in general, a lot more, passionate about, I would say. So let me give you a couple examples. I know very successful people in the dog training space, right? So a lot of people have dogs. A lot of people have problems when they have dogs. So say somebody has a dog and this dog keeps barking at night or when they're not at home. So there's a lot of value in somebody teaching how to stop your beloved dog from barking when you're gone. It's not too hard to figure out how to do that. If you have like a special approach to that, you can teach other people. You can also have services around that. But let's take another niche for another example. Let's take something in the health space. So one of the guys in my mastermind, he focuses on men over 40 who want to be stronger, right? So obviously that's a very competitive industry, right? But he has a very special niche and a very special way of teaching this and also servicing people, right? So he can have an online class, he can have his own coaching service. He now started a newsletter about this. So we're going to dive into the products. But the one thing I want to drive home here is, so he is a man at the end of his 40s. He has done the workouts, he's done the reps, right? He has done the diets. He has had his failures and successes. So he has a certain level of expertise. Is he Arnold Schwarzenegger? Oh no, he's not. Although he looks very fit and very sexy. But can I say that about another guy? I guess I can. Anyways, so he is awesome, but he's not like the most famous or experienced guy in the world. He's 2 steps ahead of other people. So he has enough expertise, enough knowledge in this field. Let me give you another way of getting to enough of an expert level. So I think if you're watching this, probably in some aspect in your life, you have enough expertise so you can help others get to the next level. Just in case you think you really don't have enough expertise in anything that you are passionate about, you can always just take something you're interested in and document your journey. So this way, you become an expert while you're at it. Let me give you an example. So say I have an interest in arts and specifically pencil drawings. Yes, I'm giving you a random example I'm just coming up with to prove my point. So say drawing with a pencil sketching, right? So I have no idea how to do that. But obviously, there's tutorials out there from other people, right? You can search the internet, you can ask ChatGPT, you can go to a course. Document this and prepare it for other people to consume it more easily. And this way, within quite a short period of time, you are becoming an expert in this. You're learning yourself and you share your journey. This is good enough in many cases to be perceived as a go-to person for a certain subject. Call it expertise. The second thing, as already mentioned, is passion. And I know this is a bit of a stereotype, like follow your passion and shit like this, but trust me, it's important. It just means that you can stick longer to something because as it is with starting your own thing, you will have highs and lows, successes and failures. And if you're passionate about something, it will just help you get back into the game. The other thing about being passionate is that people obviously immediately feel your energy. They feel if your heart beats for something. And it will make a big difference in how people perceive you, perceive the products and services that you're offering, and obviously, they will convert more easily, meaning they will purchase more and more often from you if they feel that you're passionate about something. Very often, and maybe that's wrong, but that's how humans tick, right? Very often, we tend to purchase from somebody because they are passionate and not because they know their shit. The great thing is that this is perfectly aligned with the exercise that we did about the Ikigai. So the one thing for you to do now is to take that one thing, maybe it is exactly what you figured out in the Ikigai exercise, and make sure that you go all in on this. Build enough expertise on that thing that is your Ikigai and that you want to focus on with your business. Make sure that you're passionate enough to stick with this for a couple of years. And then you go all in on this. So there's one thing that you need to do before you're allowed to move on to the next lesson. It's really critical. Take a piece of paper, and on that piece of paper, you write the niche you will operate in. So for me, this is entrepreneurship and it's education. For you, it might be education and dogs. It might be a service for art, or it might be something completely different. Write that on paper. So what I'm saying is that, of course, you can change your mind, you can change your industry later on. But in an ideal world, you already feel, you already know what you want to focus on. And you're making your life a lot easier if you just put this on paper now and you stick with it. Okay, done? Perfect. Then move on to the next lesson. It's gonna be a bit more complex, but I'll make it as easy as possible because we are going to define what the actual problems are that you will solve. And this way, getting a lot closer to your actual products and services that you can then sell.